Welcome back, everyone, to the Between the Lines podcast. I'm your host, Shania Trotter, and today we are going to finish up my recap on season 6 of My Hero Academia. So, I believe in my last episode of My Hero season 6, I already touched on the fight between Twice and Hawks, and I was just basically saying, like, dang, I'm not gonna lie, I felt bad for Twice in that moment because it was just like, damn, like you really realizing how there could be good, quote unquote, good people on each side. And I say quote unquote because really, this anime is also showing how nobody's 100% good or 100% bad, right? Some people are more bad than good. Like we have the people like All For One, more bad than good for sure, right? But the majority of the villains, if not all of them, other than maybe with the exception of All For One, I say that because we do not get a backstory for him. And even so, well, I haven't gotten a backstory, like a deep backstory to where you can see like, okay, somewhere along the way something happened to shift his whole perspective. But even so, on the day to day, All For One just be doing some evil shit. So I say with the exception of him, because as of right now, he just on his evil tip, to be honest. But the majority, if not all, the other villains that we've seen are just hurting people basically. And that doesn't make it right, absolutely not, but it's just more of like we have a lot of morally gray characters, and we're seeing Deku throughout this season, especially toward the end with his dark hero arc. He's seeing that, oh, people who the people on the hero sides are calling villains, they're just people, and sometimes they were just put in a terrible position. And he's also starting to see that people on the hero side, some people are not doing good things and they're not good people, but they're on the hero side and they're doing it in the name of, heroes, that it's considered good or okay when really it's not. And so I think for me, like, technically, it wasn't the very first time that I felt this in the show. Of course, like, I knew, okay, this is a big theme. Hurt people hurt people. Everybody's not 100% good or bad. But I think really it drove home with Twice's death that, damn, like, this is just a person, bro. You feel me? Like, I think it was really the fact that he was so, like, hurt, because for Twice, especially with him, he's been yearning and searching for community for so long, and people that he can trust and just be around and be vulnerable with, that when he does let you in, he lets you in and he fully trusts you. And this is the second time that he's allowed somebody to come into his space or their space, and he was betrayed, right? The first time was with Overhaul, right? And that one of their people was killed because of it. And I know he's been trying to redeem himself ever since. And so this, it just broke him. It truly did. And I think just being able to put it from this perspective and having Hawks as like a spy in this sense, it was able to see like, damn, like what if this was on the hero side? We would be like, damn, like, are you serious? And I mean, technically, we kind of did get that in what, season 7 a little bit. But anywho, we talk about season 6 right now. But basically, yeah, it's just like it really drove home because it was just showing like it doesn't matter whose side you're on, this would hurt no matter what. Like, this would hurt somebody that you felt that you trusted. You think that they're down for your cause, and everybody has their own reasonings to be down with this cause. And the thing is, whatever side you're on, there's always other people on the other side. So, for example, even with the like Paranormal Liberation Army, even though we're seeing that they all have their own backstories and their own reasonings for doing what they do and going for this cause, there's the heroes on the other side. But then not even just the heroes, there's the civilians on the other side of this that are going to be hurt by these things that they're doing, right? Especially Shigaraki, he wants to just destroy everything. So it's just like, there's still other people, that's going to get hurt, and they're on the other side. But the sad part is everybody's moving like, hey, well, if you're not for this cause, then to hell with you. But it's just like, again, everybody has their own stories. Everybody's, somebody, and have people that loves them and this, that, and the third, to where it's just like, the problem is when people are getting too caught up in their mission, in their what is it called? Their projects, their mission, whatever, their cause for why they're going to war, all those other people don't matter to them. And so now we're seeing that's the same thing for the hero side, right? Because although we're going hard for the heroes, because yes, they're trying to save the civilians, this, that, and the third, whatever the case is, there's people on the other side, villains, that are people too, and they done went through some hard shit too. And so you're just realizing like, damn, there's a lot of morally gray characters, and then also no side is 100% good or bad, and then it's a lot of conflict. You're just like, damn, okay, so when are we going to find a common ground then? And I say that too because one thing I didn't like was how Dobby manipulated the situation. Like, of course he was just like, of course he recorded the whole thing, and then, you know, for his big reveal, which I already talked about in the last My Hero episode. But I didn't like the way how he framed the question of like, what are you doing killing people? Like, aren't you a hero? Heroes aren't supposed to kill people. Now, mind you, this is why I said we got to find a common ground, because this is one thing about it. Yes, somebody could be considered a hero, but if killing you saves the masses, then they may have to do what they got to do. Because one thing that I don't like is that, oh, just because somebody's name or their title mean that you could just do whatever the fuck you want to them. No. Like, that's not how it goes. I'm sorry. At least in my eyes. Like, just because, oh, this person's a hero, you're not supposed to kill. You're just supposed to maybe beat people up, this, that, and the third. If you keep coming back, okay, and every time you're coming back, you're causing more and more drama. You're killing people. Okay, we have to understand. In My Hero, these people are killing people. This is not one of those animes where it's like, oh, we just, you know, the villains just beat people up and steal their purses. No, they're killing people. So if I'm supposed to be a hero for the people, the same people that you're killing, and I'm trying to, you know, do this the peaceful route, might beat your ass a little bit, try to take you to jail, this, that, and third, but for some way, somehow you keep getting loose, or you keep, you know, I don't know, it ain't working out, I might have to put you down. You know, I might have to put you down. That won't be my first route. And that wasn't even Hawk's first route. And after Twice went, we really saw what Twice could do. Oh yeah, he had to go. I'm sorry. And I didn't want that to happen. I would have loved for Twice to maybe just go to jail, go into some type of rehab, turn his life around. But he had to go in that moment because he didn't want any other route. He was like, okay, I'm going to protect my friends, and I'm going to redeem myself. I'm going to kind of like clean up my mess. So I got to take Hawks out. But Hawks tried to be like, hey, let's just start over. Let's just start fresh. Let's just do this. Let's just do that. He didn't want to do that. So in that case, especially now that we know what Twice could do, yeah, he had to go. I mean, some people might call that unethical, but I mean, like, again, they've been killing people left and right. Hello? You know? So it's just like, and Stain probably would think, you know, he would probably try to kill everybody because he's just like, you know what? All y'all some false heroes in this bitch. But it's just like, again, how I view it, sometimes you can't always just turn the other cheek. I'm sorry. Sometimes you can't. Sometimes people do got to get put down. Like for me, All For One needs to get put the F down. That's what he need to get put the fuck down. He has to. He's too powerful. So I really do hope, because season 8 is already airing. I'm gonna try to do some reaction videos to season 8 for y'all. Cause somebody asked for it, so I'm like, okay, let me just try to figure out how to do that. But so I haven't started watching it yet. That's the only reason I haven't started watching it, because I really want my reactions to be genuine. So I want to do the reactions when I watch it for the first time. But I really hope he's no longer living by the end of season 8, because I ain't got time at all. At all. They already tried locking him up, and we saw what happened. So no. Actually, I forget if that was in season 6 or season 7. Point of the matter is, they tried locking him up and it didn't work. So sometimes you do have to put somebody in the dirt, and All For One is just going to be one of those people. And I do feel like you can still be considered a hero, especially if you're saving the masses, let alone saving the world by putting this person down. But that's just me. Some people feel like heroes shouldn't kill at all. I mean, hey, that's them. Everybody got a different definition for what a hero is, child. Because I'm like, look, if we got to put this one person down to save everybody else, and we already done tried everything with this other person, we tried locking them up, we tried doing this, doing that, then they got to go. But yeah, I do think that My Hero does a really good job at humanizing everyone, even if they're considered villains, because they're, at the end of the day, they are still people. I will say this, there is a part of me that sometimes misses villains who are just terrible, evil people. You know what I mean? Like, to where you just don't feel bad for not liking them at all. Like, you're just like, okay, cool. We can hate this person because, or not like this person because it's like, they're an asshole. But they're literally always going to be one. They literally always was. And it's okay. We can just move on from that. Like, they're going to be a villain. Like, for example, I know this is off topic, but JJK, like Jujutsu Kaisen, Sukuna, cool. What you see is what you get. You feel me? Like, there's a part of me that does like that. I like when villains are just straight up villains. Like, they are evil. They are going to do everything that they said they're going to do just because they want to do it, just for the hell of it. And sometimes it could just be that simple. But then, of course, there's the other part of me that likes the deep dive, that wants it to be more realistic. Because it's like, if we're going to be so for real, most people who are considered villains or evil or terrible people, they weren't necessarily born that way. Like, that's the majority. People were not born just evil. Most people are not born evil. um Something happened along the way to make them this way, and I'm not gonna lie, I love that. I do love seeing people's journeys to how they are today, but it is a conflict, because then later on you're just like, well, damn, I really want to not like you. Now sometimes I can still not like people. Like, that's what I be saying. Even when I analyze characters, I be like, I'm not trying to get you to like this person. Let's just analyze their character and see all the layers and just truly understand them. But you can still not like that person or that character, and that's completely fine. But sometimes it's like, damn, once I understand everything, depending on the character, depending what they done did, once I understand everything, I'm just like, damn. Well, see, now I could see where this person came from. You dead wrong though. You dead wrong, but I could see it. I could definitely see it. It kind of reminds me of like Aaron Yeager. Like, you dead wrong for taking out 80% of humanity, but I could see why you did it. But you still wrong because genocide is wrong. Like, you feel me? Like, it is okay to admit that. It's okay to admit that this character that you like is dead wrong. He even admitted that he was wrong. The fuck? So it's just like, I get being like, damn, but what else was you gonna choose because you're a kid and you're stuck between the rock and the hard place and you're immature, like frontal lobe not even fully developed, like you don't even know you get me, like you're going through this, like it feels like on your own because nobody truly knew everything that he was going through, but you still dead wrong. And then now he just, like, and damn, or seeing Gabby's point of view from Attack on Titan, it's just like, damn, her and Aaron literally parallel, but like, see how we don't like Gabby because we grew up with Aaron, and then, but it's just, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like, it'd be stuff like that where sometimes you just be wanting people just to be just straight up evil and bad, like a Sukuna, but when you dealing with humans, majority of the humans, is like, no, they weren't born that way. There's a reason why they're doing this. Does that make it right and justified? Absolutely not. But it truly makes you understand these people more, and it does humanize them, because it's just like, well, damn, these really aren't all monsters. They're not. They're just people that were probably hurt or traumatized in some way, shape, or form, and so now this is their way. This is what they believe is the best way to navigate those feelings or navigate life now after these things. And it's just like, damn, that's crazy. Everybody has a different way of doing things. But does that make it right? No, not necessarily. And we can even say this on the hero side, because later on in season 6, Deku is finding out some stuff on the hero side and seeing like, oh well, hold on, because what heroes got business doing, doing all this other crazy shit? Like, what's going on? So he's seeing that both sides have done bad, and but there's good in both sides too. And so I'm like, okay, well, when are we gonna find the common ground? Because we can't have villains over here just killing people and doing whatever the fuck they want, having their way, and thinking that heroes is always gonna just turn the other cheek because they're considered to be heroes. Hell no. I'll beat your ass. like and not even just that. Like, if it gotta go there, if it gotta go there. Shit. I'm not gonna lie. Do what we got to motherfucking do. But it's just like, again, I'm wondering by season 8, how are we going to find common ground? And are you ever going to find common ground? There's always, no one is ever going to be able to come to an agreement on anything. I mean, not because everybody has different definitions and stuff. Everybody came from a different background. No, there's always going to be a side. I feel there's always going to be humans, and then the people who consider themselves villains because they're in opposed to those heroes. And it could be vice versa. You get what I'm trying to say? Like, it doesn't matter. But the point of the matter is, I'm just like, well, how are they going to navigate this in My Hero? Because this has been a very fun ride. I will say, a very well done anime. Um, I mean, of course, you can have your critiques on every anime, but the point of the matter is, this was well done, and I'm just wondering, like, okay, how are we going to go about this? And I'm still wondering, like, okay, how are we gonna deal with One for All and all that kind of stuff? I know I'm skipping above season 6, but anywho, point of the matter is, let's go on to the next thing that I wanted to talk about in season 6, which was actually Shigaraki's new form. I don't know if this picture that I'm using is exactly from season 6, but I really wanted to talk about these damn hands, honey. Because first and foremost, when I first saw Shigaraki's new form, we saw the long white hair, we saw how strong he was. I was like, ooh, I'm actually afraid of seeing him at 100% because he's not even fully completed. And he can do all this. So I was like, I hope he never reached 100% by the way he motherfucking moving. Okay? But something that I really wanted to talk about, because I was just like, what's up with this form though? All these damn hands. Like, I understand that we were saying, or that they were saying that the hands were from, like, his childhood, his family, things like that. But there's something with these damn hands though. Like, it really feels like it's an allegory for like sexual assault. And I know some people might think that's left field, but really just walk with me. Before you say, nah, I think that's a reach, okay? Really look at the pictures and the imagery being used when we're dealing with Shigaraki's new form. And even when, especially when he's looking like a child and all those hands are surrounding him. Like, I think the reason why a lot of people may not see that it could be like an allegory for SA is because he's a boy. I think that's really it. Because even when you're looking at this photo of Shigaraki as a young small child being covered by these hands, as a hand covering his face, holding his hand, or holding his arm still, holding his head down, like, it's like if he was a little girl, I feel like people would be able to catch it really, really fast. But you gotta think about it. Not only was Shigaraki already a victim of abuse growing up as a child from his father, nobody was helping him. And that's really, let's talk about that, because that actually really pissed me off. You got this man beating on this little boy because he wants to be a superhero. Okay, he wants to be a damn hero. And you got too many people up in that house that could have did something. You got the mama, you got the grandmama, and you got the granddaddy. Why was nobody doing nothing? You know what I mean? Like, I understand people were like, oh, maybe they were scared of him, but it's just like, it's three of y'all, one of him. Do something, damn it. Mama talking about, oh, we're gonna figure out why you're scratching yourself and this, that, and third. Maybe because the boy is stressed and traumatized. I don't know. It was just too many adults in there to do something that didn't. And that's another thing I be seeing too. Like, especially when something happens to kids, it's always adults around that failed them. Like, one too many times. It's like, this stuff could be avoidable. It really could. But again, there goes that theme, this heavy, heavy theme, that's sprinkled all throughout this show, is that hurt people. But at the end of the day, they are people. Does it make what they doing right? Absolutely not. But it's like we keep seeing that over and over and over again, that hurt people. And that it somewhere along the way, that father got hurt by the fact that his mama, went to go off to be a hero, this, that, and third. It was Nana, right? So I understand that, but you keep your hands off that motherfucking child, because now look what you done created. But also too, when it comes to All for One taking in even Dabi, right? Dabi and Shigaraki, he took them both in at very young ages. Okay, they're little boys. They don't have, at this point, they don't have family. They don't have no guidance, right? And now he's proving to like try to be like this father figure for them. But then also, so already that's on some Orochimaru shit, okay? Taking in these young boys, all right, to use them as your pawn, and who knows what the hell you're doing to them. Right now, in My Hero, my All for One doesn't necessarily come off as overly predatory. Well, actually, I won't say that. I'll just say he doesn't come off as overly predatory like in the way Orochimaru did, because Orochimaru, they made sure to show him with that damn tongue, okay, and him being weird as fuck from the get-go, and just let them know, like, yeah, you don't want your children around this person at all. But what I will say is that All For One is predatory, and he does come off as predatory if you're able to catch it. Like, if you're looking at it in this way, instead of like, oh, he just wants a body, for his future self. No, but if you're also looking at it as, hey, this is a defenseless child that no longer has anybody, no family, no friends, or they have been isolated from the family. Like, for example, Dobby, technically he did still have a family, but he felt isolated. He felt like nobody needed him. He felt like his absence didn't mean anything, that his father just moved on to the next sibling. So he didn't come back, and instead he wanted revenge. But it's like ultimately he did want to go back though, and he did have family, but it was like now he just chose to get revenge instead. And so, but with Shigaraki, he literally had no more family, right? Family was dead. So these are children, vulnerable children. I mean, and children themselves are already a vulnerable population. He could do whatever he wanted with them. He could do whatever he pleased with them, right? And so we're seeing, even with these damn hands, we're seeing that he's being silenced from a very young age. He's isolated, he's all alone, he's being silenced, he's being pushed down, he's being put in position. Okay? It's covering his face, his arms, like his head, everything. And we know there's a lot of manipulation, right? We know that there was grooming. Even if you consider grooming to be his next vessel. But regardless, there was grooming in there. Especially knowing that, Shigaraki had his father issues, right? His daddy issues. And then All For One comes in and was like, I'm going to be like your new father. And this, that, and the third. It's like, again, when you look at these photos, okay, and you see all those hands coming at Shigaraki, if you replace a little boy with a little girl, I promise you, you would be able to see it very easily if you don't already see it now. There's something going on there. I promise you there's something going on there. And you got to read between the lines to see it. But that's what we're here for. We're reading in between the lines, okay? And we even see it later on, too. Like, Shigaraki's trying to break free of All For One. At this point, they are like inside of him, like equally inside of him, and now that he's trying to break free, and again he's being silenced. And even Deku in that moment has saw Shigaraki's eyes and saw his face, and he was like, he looked like he needed to be saved, like, and he wanted to be saved, he wanted help. So yeah, like All For One being who he is and doing the things that he's been doing to these children. And also, let's talk about even like his obsession with his brother. I understand some people might be like, okay, because I will say this, on one layer or one level, it is about power, right? He wants to, kind of like consume his brother's All For One for All's quirk so that he could be the demon lord and all feared and whatever the case is, right? But it's also as if he wants to consume his brother. And even in the sense of like with Dabi and Shigaraki, their hair turns white. Why is that? You know what I'm saying? Like their hair turns white to where they start to resemble his brother One For All. And he's going to all these lengths to be like, I will have you, brother. And it's just like, again, just reading between the lines. I'm just saying, if the brother was a girl, if it was a sister, I feel like people would be able to put two and two together really quickly. Reading between the lines, it's like what the hell is going on? Okay? This is very predatory. Because who really knows what the hell was happening all those years? Like all those years of being groomed and being like socialized and taught that I'm the only one who cares about you, and I'm your father, I'm your this, I'm your that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, who really knows what was going on? Okay? Because again, when you're socialized and you're taught and you're groomed that something is okay, you don't think much of it. And then anytime like you like try to stray off track, you're kind of gaslit or manipulated into thinking that, hey, no, this is good for you, no, this is the route that you need to be taking, no, I'm the only one that cares, like you need to follow my rules and my guides and all my guidelines and all this type of stuff. It's like, it's crazy because this again starts at a very young age. I feel like Dabi probably would have gone down the same route if his body would have been strong enough. They were like, yeah, honestly, you should not have even lived. Like, Dabi shouldn't have even lived past the time he lived. Like, they didn't even think he was going to live past what? Was it a few months or a year or something like that? But it was just that hatred and that revenge for toward his father that kept him going. But again, when you're dealing with these kids, in these vulnerable positions, it is very easy to manipulate them. Very, very easy. And to shape them into who you want them to become. Because also, these are very formative years as well. They are not like their brain is still developing, they're still trying to figure out what is what. And so, with these huge, traumatic, horrific events happening, it's so easy to come in like a savior and just morph them into who you want them to be. And that's exactly what we're seeing with Shigaraki for sure. But yeah, I was like, we have to talk about these hands though, because they're so specific. And even like later on in season 7, like even his other form, like just all these hands, I'm just like, my goodness, we got to talk about that. Also, real quick, I think I mentioned it in my last episode, my hero episode, but I know we had a few deaths in this season, but I'm not gonna lie, the one that really caught me off guard was Midnight. I'm not gonna lie, like, it's not funny, it's just more of like, what the hell? I'm not gonna lie, it happened to me. It kind of happened quick. It was a lot of shit going on, so it kind of happened quick. I thought she was gonna be hurt badly. I did. I thought she was gonna be hurt badly, but death, really? But you know, she wasn't a character that was super, super, super involved. Like, you know, but at the same time, it was just kind of like you didn't think that they was gonna take her out. I don't know. I don't know. It just kind of was just like, really? Y'all took Midnight out for real? I mean, I guess. For real? And then even at the end when they had the kids like kind of holding her hand, they didn't even let her see her one last time. I mean, they didn't even let us see her one last time. And I was just kind of like, that's so weird. I'm thinking we're gonna at least see her like looking like she's asleep, but she's lifeless or whatever the case is. And then that really drives it home that, oh, Midnight's gone. But it's kind of like, it was just weird to me. I was just like, interesting. Interesting. That's so weird. Like, for example, what was the guy called that was All Might's sidekick? Was it, I don't want to say his name wrong. I could have sworn it was something Knight though. Point of the matter is the one that could see the future. It's like he, you know, we actually saw him get an ending. You know, he was on the hospital bed. But I also understand that was a completely different season. Like, it was more slow paced. This was like, it's like we in a war right now. So we lose soldiers, and you got to just kind of keep it pushing. I do get that, but I was just like, damn, like, she for real, she's gone. I don't know. That was just a side note. I was just like, that was off guard. Rest in peace though. So now I want to transition into the Dark Hero arc, and Deku and Bakugo, because I actually really like the fact that when Deku went off on his own, which we gotta talk about that. Think about it. These are children. Like, Deku is a child, and he was off on his own for like what, about a month, and he's fighting these extremely powerful villains, and putting his life on the line every single day because he doesn't want, you know, the war coming to his friends, or his loved ones. And I couldn't imagine being Deku's mom. Oh my god, I know she's stressed. I know she got so many new gray hairs, honey. Like, just stressed all the way out. Anxiety on 100 every single day. Ever since he done went to this damn school. Because what do you mean that your child? What do you mean that your damn child, okay, is out and about? You don't know where he's at, okay? He's barely eating. He's only really eating what All Might is giving him, and even sometimes then he doesn't eat. He's not bathing. He probably not sleeping. It's been like about a month. He could die any day and you wouldn't even really know. Like, they're not really keeping you in the loop. Golly, that's too damn much. I'm sorry. And that's her only child? Oh, child. Even if it's not your only child, like, that's still your child, though. Like, oh my gosh. And he just has so much weight on his shoulders. Child, wrap it up. Like, I couldn't do it. And it was so funny because when he did end up coming back, his friends threw him in that bath fast. They said, we need that booty clean now. Because it's been a month and it's, you know, he's been raining and he's just been sweating and just, you know, it's like, we love you, but you stank. And we need you in that shower now. They played no games with him at all. That was the first thing they did. They threw him in that bath. But another thing I loved about the Dark Hero arc was that at the end, when they had to reel him back in, okay, and all his friends was, you know, taking their time and saying, you know, how much he meant to them and like how he helped them and this, that, and the third, and you know, how it's like, hey, we friends, so we in this together, da da da, whatever. I knew it was gonna be Bakugo that was gonna be able to really reel him in. But I was just so happy that we finally got to hear how Bakugo felt about Deku. And we finally understand. I mean, I knew after a certain point he didn't hate Deku no more. Like, I knew that. But it was like he wasn't really trying to show it. So the fact that he finally apologized, finally, shit. Like, he took you long enough, but it's like he finally truly apologized. Okay. And also we were seeing little clips even before this, little clips of like him being worried about Deku, truly, like being worried about him, saying that, he never really cares about himself, understanding that, hey, he's super selfless, so therefore he's over here kind of scolding him but caring about him, right, from the sidelines. And even though he comes off as, irritable and, annoyed, he genuinely cares because he understands how selfless Deku is, and he understands that that's something that he isn't naturally. Like, Bakugo isn't naturally super selfless. So even us being able to see, even later on when he sacrificed himself for Deku. I think this was in season 6. This might be season 7. But basically when, they're going up against All For One or Shigaraki, and basically he was like, Deku's gonna get pierced, right? And instead Bakugo jumps in front of him or pushes him out the way. That was selfless. Like he said, like, it was like going back to the very first episode when he was just like, my body just moved before I could even think about it. We're seeing Bakugo now have these traits, but it all started with Deku. And I just think that's super admirable because, again, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't care. Like, I know people be like, oh, people be glazing Deku, dude. I mean, he's the main fucking character, for one. Okay. But then for two, he give him his tens. Like give him his motherfucking flowers. Like, he's done a lot. Okay, he was being more of a hero than the heroes was, even from the first episode. Don't play with him. Don't. And on top of that, because he walks in his purpose and he does him, and he's just his true authentic self, and he's so selfless, this, that, and the third, other people are gaining those traits too. Other people are using him as the definition, as the blueprint of what a true hero is. Come on now. Okay. What? And he's in what, like 9th grade? Like, don't play with it. But I knew this character development was coming with Bakugo, and it's very satisfying because Bakugo was so much like, he was on 10 in the very beginning. He was on 10 to where it was like, oh brother, okay, right? But he was also just so damn talented to where I just had to make him one of my clients. Like, like when that sports tournament came up, I was like, okay. Cause one thing Bakugo gonna do, he may be rude, but he not gonna tell you a lie though. Like, he straight up went to that sports tournament and said, I'm gonna win. Like I'm going to win. And then he did. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like he may be rude, but he not gonna tell a lie though. And so it's just like, and he talked the talk, but he can walk the walk too. That's the thing. So I was just like, okay, I'm gonna have to make him one of my clients. I have to do that. I can't turn a blind eye to the talent. He is very talented. Okay, it's not the fact that he just has a powerful quirk. It's the fact that not only is he smart, let's be real, because he's like, he's up there when it's like the top of his class. So you got like Momo, and then you got Bakugo, you feel me, and then you got Ida and everything like that, and then you got Deku. But it's just like he ain't no dummy. Let's get that right. He ain't no dummy. But also he has curated his quirk to where it could be even more powerful than it already was. That takes patience. That takes time, skill sharpening, practice. It does. So you have to give him his flowers too, I will say. But it's like, so yeah, I did make him one of my clients very early on. I was like, yeah, he has to be my client. We gonna get that attitude right. we gonna get that attitude right. But we gotta give flowers where they're due. But yeah, it's very satisfying because I was just like, you know what, with Bakugo's power and with his quirk and with his skill, it's, I was like, if he just gets that attitude right and he starts to understand that it's not all about winning, and he needs to start thinking about like protecting people and helping others and things like that, oh, he's gonna be a cold piece. Mind you, he was already a cold piece. I was like, oh yeah, he gonna be a cold piece though. And so now seeing this character development, and also us seeing him break the cycle, because this is the thing, this is why I was so glad that they were that All Might chose to really fill Bakugo in on everything, is because now they're breaking the cycle that All Might and Endeavor had, because easily Bakugo would have turned into an Endeavor, easily, because he would have been always wondering, well, why Deku and not me? What's so different about Deku? Like, why can I never really catch up to him? Right? As they got older. And so I'm so glad he understood that Deku was quirkless at one point. But it wasn't even the quirk that even made Deku become like really the hero that he was. Deku was doing crazy stuff even before he even got a handle on that quirk, when it was just breaking his arms and stuff. So it wasn't even the quirk that really truly made Deku heroic. It was his mind. It was the strategy. It was the way he thought about things, the way he cared about people. His heart is what really, his heart and his brain, for real. It wasn't even the quirk. It was just who he was as a human being. And so I'm glad that Bakugo was able to see that, because then he was able to see, like, okay, maybe I do need to start caring about people a little bit more. Maybe I need to stop thinking so much about myself. I need to stop belittling, people so much. I need to watch how I talk to people. Okay. So, I just love seeing this character development, because they're both going through it. Both of them, both Deku and Bakugo are going through this character development. And it's not like, oh, just because, Deku is who he is, he didn't need no more no, he didn't have no more growing to do. No, he had a lot of growing to do. And so I don't know, it's just beautiful, to where I'm just like, I hope that they really collab more as they get older. And another thing is too, I'm like, please don't play with it. For season 8, don't play with it, because I believe this is the final season. And I'm just thinking, like, okay, they're saying that, I think they mentioned this in season 6. They either mentioned this in season 6 or season 7, where I think they were saying, like, having one for all shortens your lifespan. So I'm just like, okay, don't play with me. Don't piss me off. Like, that means, I think, for Deku to, be able to live a long life, he's gonna have to pass it on. And also, I think that might be something that I want to talk about in maybe season 7, of like what that means for the person that passes on one for all, because you see All Might dealing with that now, of like, who is he, right? Like, who is he without one for all? Like, he was the world's like greatest hero, and so without one for all, I feel like he's definitely having like a kind of like an identity crisis, especially in this season where, it's the Dark Hero arc, and he just feels like he can't do much for Deku, like, not what he could have done if he still had one for all. So I'm wondering, how is that going to work? Are we going to see all one for all being passed off to somebody else, and are we going to see how Deku navigates that, or is it going to end like on a high, like kind of like a Naruto's type beat, where it ends where he's the greatest hero, and that's just it? Or are we going to get to see Deku kind of like live his life a little bit, and we see how he navigates things without the quirk? I don't know, but I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, this is my season 6 recap. I'm sure there's other little things that I'm not touching on, but what I will say is, I think in the future, once I get down how to do these not the recaps, the reviews, like the live reviews and live reactions and stuff, we'll be able to see my reactions on like things in real time, and even on like little things that I might have forgotten about. And also, I feel like this is one that I might read the manga. I might have to read the manga, because I just feel like and it might not be right away. I might read other stuff after, before I actually read it, but we'll see. And I might start off with just certain scenes I have to read the manga for, but I don't know. It's just, this was done really well. It's a really fun watch, I'm not gonna lie, especially in the movies. That's what I need to get caught up with before I watch season 8. I need to catch up with all the movies, because one thing about My Hero, they know how to do a good movie. They really do. They know how to get you hyped the hell up, and you just get goosebumps every time. Like, the movies are really freaking good. But anyway, I have high hopes for season 8. I'm trying to avoid spoilers at all costs. But yeah, I just want to say thank you for joining me this week on the Between the Lines podcast. I'm your host, Shania Trotter, and I will see y'all next week. Bye.